Good evening. Today, my lesson is going to be about courage. Um, and I would first like to thank the elders for giving me this opportunity to give this lesson tonight. So, first off, what does courage mean? So, courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. So, first example, we're going to look at Daniel chapter 6, verses 5 through 12. Daniel 6, 5 through 12 says, Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went to the house, and his windows being opened, and his chambers toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knee 3 times a day, and prayed, and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, The thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. So my point here was Daniel knowing that what he was doing, he was preaching and praying to God, and he knew his consequences would be being put into a pit of lions. But he was courageous, and he showed that he trusted in God, and even though it was scary to know that he was going to be casted into a den of lions, he didn't give up, and he continued to pray. Now, the second example I wanted to look at was in Matthew 4, verses 1 through 4. Then was Jesus led up in the spirit of the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. So in this was saying how Jesus was in the woods for 40 days and 40 nights, and he shunned the devil that tempted him to make these rocks into bread so that he could eat. So even with being starving and not having food or anything to drink for 40 days and 40 nights, he still was faithful to God and showed that courage to tell the devil off with Scripture. Now, the last verse I'm going to look at is James chapter 1, verse 14. This verse says, But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. So in this verse is saying everyone has temptations, but we need to have this courage, and so we can go fight against the worldly things and say no, like what we saw Jesus do in the previous verse. He was tempted, and he simply just looked to the Bible and use the word to help him fight in the world. And I would like to now extend the invitation to anyone at this time that has the courage to come forward for any needs. We're now going to sing the song of invitation.